Today we're replacing our 2010 Toyota Prius front bumper. We had a small incident where it cracked the front bumper right here and pushed the undermount shield under. We're going to try to straighten that out. Now if you can see over here, we've purchased a brand new one. It is covered in baby powder. All right, to get things started here, we're going to remove this black shield. We have a pin right here and a pin over here. To get these pins out, take your small flathead screwdriver and pop this part straight up in the center. The whole pin should lift out. And we'll do this. So we found a third one in here. Unlike the videos I watched on YouTube, there was a third one closer to the center. So we remove that one, and if you can see, these ones are short. Now we're going to pull this out, just pull it straight back, right out. Now we're going to set this to the side over here. Now we're going to be removing the two 10mm screws, bolts. We got one that says L right next to it and one that says R. All right, let's go ahead and remove those. Just stay back. These come out pretty easily. You can see I'm just using a small ratchet. I don't have a real big giant one. This has got a 1/4 inch drive on it. My photographer today is my son, 17, a senior in high school.
Hey.
Now we're going to place these in a container, keep them safe. Where's the container? The wind blew our container away, but there it is. All right, next we got more pull pins. Now these pins, you can definitely use the flathead screwdriver because they have a slot in here that you just simply lift. Give your screwdriver a little twist. Real simple. Take this one out. Toyota, I think, makes it very easy. Now you can see these are much bigger than our other ones that held the black shield in. We're on the driver's side wheel well here. We have two holders on this. We got a 10mm here and then a slotted. Now this one, you take a little bit larger flathead screwdriver, turn it 90 degrees, real simple, pop it right out of there. There we go. Now next we're going to be pulling out the seam of the bumper right here. These are basically little clips. You want to pull firmly but gently on those, on this part, to get it out. We're going to hold on to our, there we go. There we go. And there we go. Comes right off. Okay, we've done the connectors on the passenger side. Now there's another grommet, as we'll call it, underneath here. We're going to pop this pin. Okay, we got the grommet, lower grommet off on the driver's side. Now we're going back to our 10mm socket. There's 6 bolts underneath that hold the bumper from the undermount carriage. We're going to go ahead and remove those. Okay, we've removed the 6 bolts underneath on the undercarriage. Down here, some of them are kind of tough to see. They're in like little slotted areas. So we're going to try to pull the bumper off. right, there we go. Now you got a small piece of styrofoam in here, which helps with your with collision, obviously. And I'm gonna sit there. Now, there's lots of things we have to disconnect. This is a Toyota Prius with the trim 5, and so that means that it has the windshield washer high pressure sprayer. Also, it has the running lights and fog lights. It also has the dynamic cruise control radar system, which these are the covers for it, to the left and to the right side of the license plate. So we're going to go ahead and get everything disconnected so we can pull this bumper away from the assembly. We did the driver's side already because we wanted to make sure we knew what we were doing. Now this particular bumper, like I said, is a Prius 5 here, and this has a high pressure washer for the headlights. Now I've never really used it, but let's get it off of here. 10 millimeter. Get your screw off of here. Now to get this windshield washer sprayer off here, it's a little tricky because this part is bigger. Now what happens here, you slide this thing out, that thing just pops off of there. Now turn it at an angle to where you can fit the larger part through the smaller hole. Now the other side we got it right off. This side is being a little bit of a challenge, and that top part snapped off for us. So that's a little clip that'll pop right back on there. I pray to God. There we go. And it's right back on. Okay, we're going to lay that down. Now this particular car has the lane keep assist sensor, which is a round hole right here on the side, straight down below the headlight next to the fog light. So now this one is a little tricky. You're going to lay this down. First you got to get this cover off, which just basically pops right off of there. Now take a flathead screwdriver, and you got a little clip in here that you can see is sticking up. You got to push that in and then pull the tab up and hold it there. While you're holding it, bring this up, get your screwdriver underneath that little hook right there. Boom, this part pops out. Okay, now we got to get the retainer ring out of here. Now you got a little clip there. Obviously this one takes a little bit of force. You're going to push in these metal pieces. You also got little plastic tabs that go in, and voila, you got that part out. Set that to the side where it's safe. Next we got our fog lights and running lights here. Unscrew the bulbs, just give them a little twist. Same with the headlight bulb, or excuse me, fog light bulb, and we're going to be replacing these bulbs with some better bulbs, LEDs, a little more efficient and a lot brighter. These are factory in here. They're about 40 watt, and they're regular incandescent bulbs. We bought some LEDs that run at 100 watt of brightness. Now we're going to get off the running light here. Remove another 10 millimeter. Toyota is really efficient at using the same size bolts on the whole front of this grill, I'm finding, which is making the job a lot easier, not having to change sockets out all the time. We're going to set our bolt, little nut there to the side. Now we're going to get off the running light, squeeze these two together. Give it a little push down, go to the third one here. There we go, we got our running light assembly. Set that off in a safe place. Now this let's see, we got the fog light assembly. There's one Phillips head screw holding this in place. Pull that out of there, put it in a safe place, and that pulls out this way. There you go, there's our fog light assembly. Now we're going to move to our grill assemblies here. And we working on this, we finally figured it out. We were thinking that I had to take all these grommets out that are holding the wiring group together, but we don't. That is, this part right here is separate from the bumper. There's little clips, little hooks in here that you just push to the side. Let's see, not so easy now. I had some of them started here and it looks like they just clipped themselves right back in. There, we got those. So just keep those away. I think that one's undone. No, it's not. Gotta pry that out. There we go. Keep this up. There we go. Now we're moving along here. Getting those clipped out. And there we go. We got that harness will be used again right there. Now, since our car has a high pressure water spray assembly, we have to take this out. We'll just leave this hose on there because that is connected as well. So, same thing as the upper grill assembly. The lower grill assembly has these little clips here that should just pop off. Get the screwdriver in between, back that out, keep pressure upward so that it doesn't snap right back in, because these things really pop right back in on their own real easily. There we go, and we got that off. Now, oh, one more little grommet here that we forgot to mention for our wiring group. Take a screwdriver on each side. Pops right out of there. Now, back up, and here is the old bumper. Now, about the only thing we got left to do here is remove the Toyota emblem here and the license plate assembly, which is pretty simple. Phillips head screwdriver to get that out. Same with the license plate. There's little grommets that hold. Yeah, it looks like the guys at Toyota missed the grommet there. They're not doing their job. All right, so we'll get this stuff off and then we will start assembling the new bumper. Okay, here we go. We got our new bumper assembly all ready to go. We did find that we had a gasket on top of the old one that we had to take off, and it's on with grommets that you just clip right in, so you might have to squeeze it. It also has two-sided tape, which we're not obviously not very sticky anymore, so I've run a bead of caulk in here. Now it looks white, but that's white clear silicone that will dry clear. Now there's also a grommet that looks like a Phillips head screw. And to get that out, the Phillips head doesn't work. It just keeps turning and turning. So to get that thing out of there, when it's in place, just take a head of a screwdriver when it's in place and give it a good push up and it'll pop right out of there. Now to get it back in here, we're gonna just give it a good squeeze in. It's gonna be a little tough because the grommet is expanded. There we go. And boom, it's in. Now we got another little grommet that's built in. They're built into the gasket, and that'll line right in back into there. There we go. And that should dry in place as we're working on it. Just make sure it's pushed forward right up to the edge, and I think we're good to go. Okay, we got our license plate assembly put on, which is basically easy, very easy. There wasn't one on there, but they had little divots with the bolt holders in there. So, and we also got our Toyota emblem put in. very basic. 2 Phillips head screws as you saw earlier. Okay, we're on the back side of the front bumper here. Next, we also found on the old bumper these bolt grommets, which there's 3 on each side from center. We also found another grommet in the center there that we didn't take out, so beware of that. I told you 6 bolts and 2 grommets. Well, there's 3 grommets. There's 1 in the center. So these just simply click in, facing downward, for our bolts that hold the front bumper underneath. Alright, next we're going to get this upper grill assembly on. It's always good to clean it up. We haven't done too much to it here, but this is the only part that shows right there. So you line that in, and that's where our hooks are. I'm going to try to lean this forward here. Get some things underneath here. There you go. That's a good angle, Mikey. Alright, so line this up, and hopefully this will snap right in. Not going to be too easy, but nothing worth doing is easy. There we go. Starting to get her lined up. Well, it looks like we need to get some of our wire grouping all inside here so it's not scratching the bottom of our bumper. There we go. We got it in a little closer, so now we can actually work on it. So, lining up the hooks here. And, I got those 3 lined up. Oh, this side didn't quite pop in. There we go. Pull the tabs in there. Oh, that one's outside. There we go. This side doesn't want to clip in as, oh, yeah, I think it's in. Nope, not quite yet. Oh, yeah, that's in there. All right, let's go for the bottom one down here. Those lined up, pull it in a little closer because we get that washer fluid hose there. Get this. Okay, here we go. We're on the driver's side here. We already did the passenger side assembly just to get familiar with it again. So first we're going to start with the fog light assembly here. We're going to squeeze that in, and it's best to look at it from the front is what we're finding. We got these little clips in there. Once you get everything tangled and untangled, ready to go, just kind of line these up with those hooks. Now it can be a little bit of a pain. There you go, just kind of keep it snug in there, and there we go. I'm pretty impressed with this bumper. It seems to be factory OEM, original equipment manufacturer. So everything's lining up real well. So next we're gonna put in the bulb assembly. Now this comes in from the inside, and you can see it's kind of angled on there. So what we want to do is one side just has slots, and it slots in, and then the other side just kind of clips in. It's got one screw that holds it. It's that Phillips head screw, which we'll grab that right now. It's a little tough for you guys to see here. Let me get out of the way if I can, get those wiring out of the way. There we go. And one Phillips head screw then holds that in place with the tabs on the other side. Next, to complete this, we have our new bulb, LED bulb. And if I can find the bulb, there it is. There's the old factory one. Little bonus here for you if you ever want to change this out. Basically, what was it? Squeeze this down, Mikey? Yeah, squeeze that down. It pulls right out. So you're squeezing that little tab right back here where my thumb is. Takes a good amount of strength to get that thing to pull down. So then lock that in. Now this will, let's get this wiring up out of the way. This will fit in here till it's pointed down, I believe. Yeah, switch sides there. Get this to line up. And it twists in. Let's go, there we go. Clockwise. There we go. All right, next is our daytime running lamp. You got 3 clips and 1 bolt, which the bolt holds both the fog light in. So we bring this in from the front with the angle. There we go. And our fog light, of course, has popped out a little bit. So let's get this daytime, let's get this fog light back in there. You can get that to line up on the clips. The clips don't really hold a whole lot. So there we go. Put this in with the angle of the bumper. Now there's 1 screw. Once again, 10 millimeter, thank God. This 1 screw will hold both of them in. There we go. And we'll tighten that up. You don't want to over tighten it, just nice and snug. That's why I'm using the smaller 1/4 inch bit. None of these required a big ratchet at all. They all came up very easily. There we go. Now let's move to the lane keep assist module, which is side mounted over here. Now you want to make sure you put this on there correctly. I'm going to line this thing up so that the tab, I believe, was on top on this one. So we're going to put this thing through the hole with that clip up. Now the other side it fit right through, no problem. This side seems to be doing the same. All right. There we go. Slide it in and click. It's clicked in place. Good to go there. All right. Now we got our bulb, which I didn't change out, but there we go. One last thing here, and that is our windshield washer high pressure sprayer. And on the other side, we found out that this thing comes off. Just simply pull that out. Now keep this part extended. Push it through the hole, hold it in place, clip it back in. There we go. Now it's got 1 bolt that holds it right in top there. We'll get that put in, and then we'll move in to putting our grommets and everything in our bolts on the bottom and the top. Okay, we got the bumper all lined up with everything. The one thing we did have trouble with was this grill in here, getting this in and getting it to lock into the hooks. We found that the painted bumper part wasn't going in all the way, so we weren't able to see that until we actually got it into place up here, and then able to push the painted bumper up into the grill slot, and then it clicked into place. So what we did then, we brought it up into place and we put 1 center grommet in to hold the bumper up here in place, and it's not sliding around anything, and it's safe. It's not going to hit the ground. So now we got our grommets back up here. We're going to start putting some of these in. And you got to make sure these are popped out. Try not to force anything. Once you get it lined up, put it in, then shove the center down. Let's do the other side and get it lined up here. Doing our outside, push it in on the sides, push it down. There, we're locked into place. So next we'll go into the side mount. Oh boy, we got lucky here. Our driver's side popped right in. Those are slotted. So we got lucky there. Don't have to do that one. Let's check the other side here. There we go. This one is not in place. You got little slots right in here, little hooks. And you just get them in there. Get it in, you'll hear little clicks. There we go. Now next, yeah, we'll put in our bolt over here, and then the other 90-degree turn grommet down below. So the bolt up top, the grommet down here. We'll get that into place. Then we got to come around and make sure that our undermount shield is under the bumper, like right here. There is one center grommet right here on this shield that we're having some trouble with. We thought we could get that mounted in there first and then put the bolts in. But what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and grab the bolts and get those in first. Because let's face it, the bolts are what really hold it in place. So let's get a couple bolts started here into those white square grommet mounts that we took off the old bumper. And what we're going to do, we're just going to start them by hand a little ways, because not everything's lined up perfectly yet, but once we get these into place, then we got them all started a little ways, then we'll tighten them all one by one, because if you bring one up and the other one's not lined up, you'll never hit that hole. And this way you can kind of see your grommet hole and get it started in there. So we'll get back to you in a little bit here. All right, we're getting a final bolt in here. This one's marked with the L. We got the other side, the R, getting that all tightened up. Now we've gotten 2 grommets there, the bolt next to the R, and then we got we need a grommet right here in this one. And of course, this one is already pushed in, so we're going to grab one that is not pushed in. Let me see if I can find one here. There we go. We're going to get a long grommet in there, snap it down. There we go. We got a long grommet here, and then another bolt. And this one. All right, 2 grommets there. So now we want to line this up. Oh, you know what? That one right there. So we got 1, 2, 3 right there. Grommet, long grommets. Let's get that into place. Snap it in. Now get this, the last step, the shield up on top. Make sure your hood latch area is centered right there. And then all we do is put in those short grommets. We got 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. And we are all done. Just make sure that you get those side mounts on the wheel well and the bolts over there, and you're all set.